Fast Start training. What you guys just saw was a presentation where we give you a really brief overview of what we do. Wait, we don't have a whiteboard, do we? It's fine if we don't.
No.
Okay.
We stole it. It was in here.
Really?
Yeah, we left it in here, so we came back.
You guys want to hear something funny? I have the worst ADD. Somebody broke into my car, and they stole everything except for my personal development audio program. If they would have stole that and listened to it, they could buy 10 cars. I saw my watch was gone, my clothes, but all my gym run was there. I was like, I'm fine. Just have my gym run, I'll be okay. Okay. So what you guys saw is the presentation where we give you a brief overview of what we do. Okay. Right now, I want to give you a fast start training, just to give you a little bit of armor, so when you go out there, you're not like, I'm not sending naked people out to slaughter. Okay. So, who here is taking notes? A couple people? A few of you guys? Okay, good, good. At the risk of sounding arrogant, I think this is funny. I've made millions of dollars. People go to school and they're scared to be late and they take notes like God's talking. And then I've made all this money and people are like, but I know a lot of you are guests and you're like, dude, if I'd have known, I would have brought notes. So take mental notes. Fast start training is all about this, okay? I want you guys to remember a couple of key points. 90% of recruiting is timing. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I remember when I was in Hollywood this one time, I was shopping for a mattress, and then all of a sudden I started seeing mattress trucks freaking everywhere. But when you're not shopping for a mattress, they're still there, you just don't see them. And so when you're talking to someone, if they're looking for an opportunity, they're going to pick up whatever it is you're putting down. If they're not looking for an opportunity, it's going to fly right past them. And so you have to remember, nobody says no, they're just saying not yet. And so it's very important that you end every conversation on a positive note. It's kind of like if I ask out a girl and she says no, I don't call her names. Right? If she says, no, I have a boyfriend, I don't call her names. I go, of course you have a boyfriend. Look how pretty you are. I just want to be your friend. What you remember? I'll be that shoulder to cry on. Because I'm going to be that great white shark waiting for them to get into a fight, and she calls me and I take her to coffee. That's her friend. Right? See, if somebody says no, remember, they're not saying no, they're just saying not yet. And so we don't get paid to argue with our friends. Here's the key to recruiting, okay? Say a little bit to a lot of people. When you first get started, you want to make a list of everybody you know. And you want that list to be like 100 or 200 names. My first list was 168 people. 4 of them said yes. The rest of them all said no. And so you don't know who's going to do it. Don't prejudge. The people that you think are going to join won't join. And the people that you think would never join end up being some of your very best people. So the first thing you want to do is make a list of as many names as possible. My sponsor, like 14 years ago, said, I'll give you $1 for every name you could write down in the next 30 minutes. And I was like, 168, boom. And I was done, and I was like, and he goes, I'm just playing. But if I look at how much money I've made over the past 14 years, each one of those names was worth a fortune. And there's nothing worse than coming to a meeting like this and seeing one of your friends in the meeting, but you never called them because you were too scared. The number one thing that stops people in this business is fear. Fear of criticism and fear of rejection. Those are the top 2 things that stop you. And it's crazy because we're so scared to have someone say no to us that we end up living a life of mediocrity. I'd rather go out there and get a whole bunch of no's and drive a Ferrari and retire my parents, but it's like, what's more important to you? Having people accept you or retiring your parents? And I just took a look at life and said, dude, life is short. And I want to retire my parents. And you know, I want to live a big life. And if you guys are so scared all the time of what people think about you, you're never going to get anywhere in life, regardless of being that. And so that's the first thing you got to do is break out of your shell and realize it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. You guys are all going to mess up. You're all going to make mistakes. But it's okay because we fail forward. So you make a list of everybody and you got to call them all. Now there's 3 types of people on your list. There's people that you look up to, there's your peers, and there's people that look up to you. The people that look up to you, like let's say your friend Jason, you just call up and you go, hey Jason, dress sharp, I'm picking you up at 6 o'clock. You don't have to tell them anything, because they just are excited that you're going to come pick them up. Okay? They're at home, going in here. You know? You don't tell them anything, okay? Then your friends, what you got to do is don't make it about you. Because when I worked at In-N-Out Burger, I couldn't say to my friend, dude, I'm going to show you how to make all this money. My friend's like, yeah, right, pay me back the $9 you owe me and then we'll talk about it. So when you're new, what I used to always say is, there was a guy in my upline named Dennis who drove a Rolls Royce, this Chinese guy named Dennis Wong. And I would tell everybody, dude, you gotta meet my friend Dennis. This guy drives a Rolls Royce, he's a freaking boss. This guy's like the Chinese Richard Gere. He's like the coolest guy ever. He was Chinese, he had a Harley Davidson, and his fiance was Eddie Murphy's ex-fiance, and she was black. Chinese guy on a Harley with a black girl. Weird, different, but different is what, that's why I look up to him so much, because I was like, this guy doesn't give a... He just does what he wants. And he was a good person, and he was healthy, and I was just like, dude, I want to be just like that guy, okay? So for your close friends, you just got to take yourself out of the equation and say, I want you to meet somebody, and you have to edify somebody else. And so sometimes when you're talking about Bima and you're explaining Bima, people have a lot of questions, and you're not an expert yet, so you don't know what to say. Sometimes it's easier to not even bring up Bima and just say, dude, I want you to meet my friend Jermaine. I want you to meet my friend Margaret. I want you to meet my friend Leonora. And then you edify that person so that your friends want to meet those people. Because if they're financially successful and they're happy and they're living the good life, people are going to want to meet them. Does that make sense? Yeah. So one of the things you guys have to get good at in this business is promoting other people. And that's such a great life skill in general to have, to learn how to promote other people. So take yourself out of the equation. Does this make sense? Okay?
Yes.
Then there's people that you look up to. And everybody thinks that's the hardest one. I think that's like the easiest one. Because when I first got started in network marketing, I was 19 years old, and I had a girlfriend named Lisa Anstead, and her dad's name was Tony. And I remember this was the hardest phone call I ever made. I remember the phone number, 949-493-8760. Still their phone number today. Don't call them. just be weird. I remember sitting in my apartment in Mission Viejo. I was going to Saddleback Junior College. And I remember picking up the phone, and it was the heaviest phone I'd ever picked up in my life. I was just like, oh God. And I remember I called and it rang, and he answered, and I was like, oh God. I was like having a panic attack. And he's like, oh Clif, let me get Lisa. And it was so easy to just go, okay. And I went, actually I wanted to talk to you. And he like freaked out, like his daughter was pregnant or something. He's like, what, Clif? And I was like, well, you know how my dad's not around, and like I really look up to you, and I really respect you, because you know, like everybody in the community looks up to you, and you know, you're successful in business. Well, I saw this business, and I'm thinking about putting a lot of time into it this summer, but I was hoping you would take a look at it and tell me if you think it's worth me putting my time into it. And he was like, well, Clif, absolutely, you know I would. I'll even pick you up any night this week, just tell me when. I couldn't believe it worked. I was like, holy shit. Okay, cool. Tuesday night, he picked me up, took me to the office on Main and Jamboree, saw the presentation, freaking loved it. This guy was making over $100,000 a year back in 1996, working for Boeing as an engineer, super respected, saw the presentation and said, I wish I would have seen this when I was your age. He joined, signed up a whole bunch of people, and my little business started to get going, okay? So there's always a way, and don't be intimidated, because every millionaire wants another $1 million. There's nobody out there who's too cool for this. Everybody wants more money, everybody wants better health. Maybe you talk to someone who's really rich, think if somebody's really rich, their life is awesome, they want to live forever. Maybe you just pitch them on the product. They fall in love with the product, they really like it, they tell other people about it. If you look at, I always get Brian Staben. He got introduced to this business through the product. He loved the product, told other people about the product. You look at J.D. Phillips, Royal Ambassador, making $25,000 a week. He got introduced to this business through the product. He loved the product, had his own company, 400 employees, just started on the product, and for 7 months he never did anything with the business, just like the product. And then eventually they started telling people that told people that told people, now he's making 25 grand a week. Now that comes with a lot of hard work and effort, but I'm just saying, you can lead with the business, or you can lead with the product. And you just got to practice it. You're going to get better at it as you go out there and start talking to people. Nobody's just awesome right away, okay? So you make a list, don't prejudge, don't say too much. In the beginning, I think it helps a lot. Here's what I tell everybody. You give them a drink, have them watch a video on YouTube, and then get them on the phone with me. That's the 3-step process. Have them try the drink, have them watch a video on YouTube, and then get them on the phone with somebody. Now, it doesn't matter if it's Margaret or Jermaine or Leonora or myself or whoever, but it goes video, drink, or drink, video, and then phone call with somebody who knows what they're talking about. Are you guys all with me on this?
Yes.
It's so Forrest Gump that it's going to go over a lot of your heads. Here's the next thing I'll say. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. The reason why this works is because 2 people telling 2 people telling 2 people, it's free and it's simple and it's duplicatable. But people get into the business, and I love your enthusiasm, but they go, oh dude, my friend's got a radio show, or oh, we could sponsor this event, or oh, we could do this, or oh, we could do that. If that stuff worked, we would teach it, okay? I can tell 2 of my friends, and that's free. And they can tell 2 of their friends, and that's free. And think about how a rumor spreads, right? Or think about how diseases spread. It's like, you got it. Whole country's like wiped out, okay? That's how this works. As soon as you guys start going outside our business model of 2 till 2 till 2, then you start incurring expenses. And then you come to us and say, oh, can you pay for this? And the answer is always going to be no, okay? And so I just told people, and they told people, and now I got a lot of people, and I make a lot of money because I followed that system. Next thing I want to tell you guys is avoid the emotional roller coaster. When you first get involved and you talk to your first person and they're not into it, just because they're not into it doesn't mean your next friend is not going to be totally into it. And so what happens is you call up your first friend, they say no, and you're like, oh, Vima's a scam. Then you call the next person and they're super excited and you're like, shadow boxing, Clif, Braun, nothing. I'm the next royal ambassador, Jamie Phillips, you know? And you're like, now Vima's like the best thing in the world. Then you come here and you got off work early, you got all dressed up, you brushed your teeth even, and you're here, and it's 7 o'clock, 7:20, 7:30, you're standing outside doing the Vima salute, looking for your guest, they don't show up, and then you're like, Vima's a scam. And it's so funny how you just keep going up and down like this. Eventually you sign someone up, you sign up another person, you got 2 people, and then one of them quits. And you're like, oh my God, I just lost half my company. In the beginning, everything seems so big. Eventually, you're like me, and you got thousands of people, and one person quits, and you're like, go ahead, you know? So I know it's tough in the beginning. Just because your best friend joins doesn't mean you're going to be rich. And just because your best friend doesn't join doesn't mean you're not going to be rich. You guys have got to get committed. There's no such thing as just like easy, fun, free success. It takes a little bit of commitment. Some people are going to say no, and that's okay. Keep talking to more people, and you guys are going to get better at it. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay? So stay off the emotional roller coaster. Call your friends, give them drinks, show them YouTube videos. When you guys go on YouTube and you start doing your research, you're going to find a lot of good videos. You're going to find a lot of bad videos. You're going to find some videos that say, oh, Vima's a scam and whatever, okay? So you got to go online and find the videos that are going to match your friends' personalities. Like I know Adriana might like a certain video. I know she might like a certain video. Do we have any videos here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, do we? What do we have?
We have,
Yours.
what do you want?
What about the Jamie Kennedy one?
No.
Damn. What do we have? What is Vima?
What we have?
What is Vima?
No, I'm asking you. What do you have? It's like who's better first? Wait. I'm gonna show you a couple of videos. And we're done in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Revolution.
But I just personally think a picture's worth 1,000 words and a video's worth like 1,000,000 words. And so if you show someone a video and give them a verb, it just gets easier from there. But just talking to someone and explaining everything from scratch is difficult. Okay, what we got here? Old school.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Malibu's Most Wanted. I met him at the Beverly Hills Hotel and I signed him up and we made a 4-minute commercial that explains the whole business. And it's me, him, and Matt Morrow doing a 4-minute presentation. Yeah. So if you go to YouTube and type in Clif, Braun, Jamie Kennedy, you guys will find that one as well. That Clif, Braun, Jamie Kennedy is my favorite because I'm in it. And then the other one is just like this but better. Those are my 2 favorites. But there's also a really good one called the Vima Mixing Facility. Anybody that's very analytical, they can watch that. Just to give you guys an idea of how big this is, as we're doing this, there's meetings like this going on in 47 countries, just like this, all over the world. We now make Monsters drinks and Rockstars drinks. How crazy is that? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
We now, guess who Monster and Rockstar pays to make their drinks? Us. That's freaking huge! When we started, everyone's like, yeah, right, never going to work. We just bought our own canning facility. It cost $5.5 million. I just took a tour, and we've got this new team in Rancho Cucamonga. 2 guys joined, Rome and Tony Yang, and there's Vanessa, Rome's girlfriend. And those 3 people signed up like 50 people in 3 weeks or something. That's something ridiculous. And so they had to rent a bus, and we took everybody down to the facility. And we're walking through, and there's 4 miles of pipes from when the liquid gets mixed and it goes through. And then you keep walking, and there's all these Rockstar drinks. And there's all these Monster drinks. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, they now pay us to make their drinks. So I'm telling you guys, this is going to be big. The way to get rich is to find out what's going to be the big thing before it gets big. See, when I started with this, and it was just me telling everyone, oh, a burger is going to be great, and everyone's like, yeah, right, whatever. We're the official energy drink of the Phoenix Suns. We're the official sports drink of Michael Jordan's basketball team, the North Carolina Charlotte Bobcats. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if in 2 years, we're the official energy drink of the Lakers? It's not even in our plans or anything, but I'm just saying, neither was the Phoenix Suns, and neither was, could you imagine? What if, like we have 100 tickets to every Phoenix Suns game, and we have floor tickets, okay? And I can get tickets to anything I want, right? And a lot of the other top producers can as well. But what if, I mean, this is just going to get, we've got 4 company jets now. What if this just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and a whole bunch of us get rich and you missed out? All your risk is order 2 cases a month, that's it. Now, in closing, there's 3 ways you can start. You could buy 1 case, or you could buy 2 cases, or you could buy what's called a builder pack, which is $500, and then you get like 7 cases, and you get a sample of all the other products. So it's good, better, best. Now you can start wherever you feel comfortable. Only you know your financial situation. No one's going to try to push you into a higher level. But if you start with the silver level, there's all these bonuses and things that you get that you don't get at the other levels. So I tell everybody, don't overextend yourself, but also, you know what? Don't sell yourself short. Because you guys can do this. If I can do it, you guys can do it. And people, here's the objections I most commonly hear. Oh, I want to do it, but I don't have the money. One of my really good friends said, dude, I want to do it, but I don't have the money. And I asked my friend, because we were close, I was like, Chris, how long have you been working for? And he's like, 15 years? I said, in 15 years, you haven't saved up $500. Here's another one. My friend says, dude, I don't have the money. Really? How does that feel? The reasons people give of why they can't do this are the reasons why they should do it. Dude, I want to do it, but I don't have the time. Why don't you have the time? Because I'm so busy working. Why are you so busy working? Because they don't pay you enough, or you wouldn't be that busy working. And so it blows my mind. People have all these reasons why they can't do it, and the longer you argue for your limitations, the longer you get to keep them. And so in life, you've got to get good at identifying the problem and focusing on the solution. And I'm not the smartest guy out there, but I'm really good at identifying the problem and then focusing on the solution. But most people identify the problem, and then they like to sit in there and complain and cry. Do you guys know anybody like that? Yes. There's a great story about this dog, and he's lying on the porch, and he's like moaning and groaning, and the neighbor comes over, and he goes, what's wrong with your dog? And he goes, oh, he's lying on a nail. He says, why doesn't your dog get up off the nail? He goes, because it hurts bad enough to complain about it, but not bad enough to do anything about it. That's so many of our friends and family, huh? They actually think complaining about it is like doing something about it. So here's what I can tell you guys. Get in this thing, it's going to be freaking huge, and if you miss out on this opportunity, you will dislocate your hip from kicking yourself in the ass. Because I'm going to get a different colored Lamborghini for every day of the week. I'm going to get a pink one just to piss you off. I'll roll through Santa Ana in a pink Lamborghini. Real fast. So let's have fun, let's make some money. All you guys got to do when you leave here tonight, don't try to explain this to your friends. Give them a drink, show them a link, and then when they go, dude, it's really cool, tell me what it's all about, all you got to do is say, you know what, let me get you on the phone with somebody, he'll explain it to you. You know what, let's meet up for coffee, and have somebody else explain it to your friends. That's the best way for you guys to get this whole thing going. Are you guys excited? Yes! Cool, now we're going to do something cheesy and dorky. And the reason why we're going to do something cheesy and dorky is to get you guys out of your comfort zone. Because a lot of people in Los Angeles suffer from a disease called ITC. Bless you. ITC. I think it's spread to Orange County too. It stands for I'm too cool. There's also a disease at the nightclub called no acetol. Some of these girls. lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I know what it is. Okay, everybody come in here tight. We're going to do like one of these team things, okay? I learned this from my brother.